Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where it's our goal to help you learn, grow, and transform into the person you want to become. Today, I'm talking with Eden Myers. She's a health and wellness consultant that has spent over 20 years helping people realize the potential to live a healthy, happy life. Having been mentored by the best teacher on the human potential and success, she has used these tools that we all possess to find success in her life and is especially passionate about sharing them with women who want to grow and achieve what they desire while balancing their busy lives. We spent a good amount of time on that, where she's very passionate about helping women that have been mostly, I guess I want to say, have been a housewife or something like that, where the kids have gone off to kindergarten or preschool or off to college, and they've really spent most of their life, or a good chunk of their life, tending to the children in the household, and they really a lot of their identity is wrapped up in being a mom and being a housewife, and they feel a little lost, and they aren't sure what to do. So she helps them find their goals and get back to the things that they wanted to do before they took on that role as a full-time mom. We talk a lot about self-image, and we talk about some other things that she's into, and it was a great conversation. I hope you folks enjoy my conversation with Eden Myers. Eden, welcome to the Social Chameleon Show. It's so great to have you. Thank you so much for reaching out. I think it's gonna be a great conversation, not just between us, but I think for everybody listening, a woman's point of view on things. I think it's gonna be really great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Tyson. I'm excited to be able to share and talk with you. Mm-hmm.
Great. So through talking with you, I hear this is your first podcast. Congratulations.
It is. Thank you. Thank you. I feel honored. It's your podcast. Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm the one that's honored that you have taken your time to talk with us today. That's really so amazing. It's so great how we can, with technology and things today, how we can easily just communicate with people we've met across the internet. We connected on Instagram, and here we go. Look, we're able to have this kind of conversation and share ideas and messages. This is so amazing.
It is. Thank you.
So I know when we were chatting and we were kind of going over things, you wanted to talk about self-image. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What is this about?
Well, yeah, this is one of my favorite subjects to talk about, is our self-image. And so many people need to understand it more. And basically, that the results that we're getting in our life are a direct reflection of our self-image, or the image we have of ourselves, the way we think of ourselves. I mean, doesn't it make sense that if you change your image, or you improve your image of yourself, then you're going to change your results in life and improve the results in your life?
Absolutely. I mean, so many people are so blocked in their own thinking about the things they can't do, and it's really just in their mind.
Yeah, it really is a block. It really is a block. And you may have heard of the book Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz.
I have heard of that, yes.
Yeah, that's a great book for anybody that hasn't heard of it or read it. But of course, he was a doctor, a psychiatrist. He had a man come to him and he says, "Doc," he says, "I'm bankrupt, I'm ruined, I'm disgraced." And Dr. Maltz said, well, hold on here a minute. He says, the fact may be that you're bankrupt, but it's your opinion that you are ruined and disgraced. Mm-hmm. So it's our opinion of ourselves, and then in turn, we reflect that out to the world, and that's how the world sees us. So we really got to be careful of how we're thinking about ourselves and our self-image. Mm-hmm.
What are some techniques you like to either use for yourself or teach other people to improve our self-image?
Well, personal study, investing in yourself is really, really important, because we get so caught up in all the daily things we got to do, taking care of the kids, the house, the wife, the husband, what have you. We don't spend any time on ourselves. And we really got to get to know ourselves before we can, help other people. We really have to. So there's a lot of really cool techniques too, that I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, just invest in yourself and read, educate yourself. It doesn't stop just whenever you get out of school or college. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people think as soon as they're done with whether it's high school or trade school or college that their learning is over, and really it's just begun there. I think I forget who said it, but was it don't let schooling get in the way of your learning. I forget who said that, but a really great thing to think about and do. What is your go-to kind of technique, or for somebody that's new to this, or somebody's having a self-image problem? What's the one thing you say, like, if you just get this done and you do this, like you're gonna see a big improvement?
Well, people come to me at all levels. I meet a lot of people that are struggling. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the most basic thing I tell them to do is you sit down and write 10 things that you're grateful for. And then you automatically just start thinking about yourself. Well, I'm grateful for my good health, and I'm grateful for my mate, I'm grateful for my children. And you start looking at the things that you have that are good in your life. Mm-hmm. And that helps you to start feeling better about yourself.
Yeah, you can't be upset or angry and express gratitude at the same time. You're just not going to happen. That's a great technique. That's one of the things, especially in our society nowadays. It seems like we're so wrapped up in the things we don't have and the things we're chasing, and we really forget the blessings that, something like 3,000 people every day just don't wake up. You and I, and everybody listening and watching here today, we woke up. We're ahead of the game. Most of us are fortunate enough to have free time to be watching this and have expendable income to have a device to watch this on and have internet access. There's a lot of things, just the simple things we take for granted every day. Absolutely. If you just started thinking about those instead of the car or the house or the whoever or whatever you don't have, you'd really start to see how fortunate we are. Especially most of us live in America or something along those lines where prosperity is, the poorest people are more prosperous than, the whole rest of the world.
Yeah, they appreciate the simpler things. And now I wake up every morning and I'm grateful for having a nice, long, peaceful sleep, because that recharges your body for the next day, and so that you can be at your best. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Maxwell Maltz in Cybernetics, he was a doctor, but he was a doctor of reconstructive surgery, plastic surgery. And he found it really interesting. So he would perform surgery on somebody that maybe, had a bad scar on their face, or their, something was really just distorted about them. And he found that when there was a change in their appearance, there was also a change in their psyche, their personal psyche. There was an improvement. And so it's the way they looked at themselves.
Right.
And then there were other times where he performed the surgery or, what have you, and there was no change at all. So it led him to postulate that we have two images. One is how the world sees us, and the other is how we see ourselves.
And what would you say to people to get them to kind of let go of that self that they want the world to see, and they're so worried about how the world sees them instead of the self that they should just worry about is the way they see themselves? What are some things you like to teach?
Well, when we're always trying to please someone else or prove ourselves to someone else, we're never really happy.
Right.
And if we can just be ourselves, there's a lot more to us than we can always appreciate. Yeah. So again, that list, writing down some good things about yourself. And you can write down some things that you don't necessarily like about yourself, but you'll find that there's more that you do like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to caution people, be careful. We all can sit down and we can rattle off 80,000 things that we just hate. That's easy. The hard part is the things that we like and we appreciate and we're grateful for. We all have unique gifts and we all have unique abilities and things that we've cultivated over the years. Let's focus on those. It's so easy to say I suck at X, Y, and Z, and I'm just, a horrible person. I'll never succeed in all this because I can't do thing like, this other person. It's like, never mind that. Like if you want to be that, you can get that and do that. Just focus on the right things.
Yeah. And I tell people, okay, so take a look at the results that you're getting in your life. That's going to dictate how you're really thinking about yourself. So, one of the things that we can do to work on changing that image that we have of ourselves internally is to use our imagination. One of our mental faculties is our imagination. Mm-hmm. And think of some people that you admire. What are some traits of theirs that you admire? They stand tall, they have confidence, they dress nice, whatever it is. And so sit down and relax and create this image in your mind with those traits that you admire about somebody else, or traits that you have to build on. And so it's called, it's an actor's technique, and they act a certain way. And you relax, you sit down and you imagine it, and then you write it, and you read it, and you reread it over and over again, like an actor does a script, until you internalize it. And you start to feel and be like that person. I always like that technique too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a memory you create and a memory that actually happened. So we can all easily create memories of a life we want to live, as if we are living it, as if we have done it, as if we've been there. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. And then it works in the opposite. If you're, constantly focusing on imagining how, crappy and, shitty your life is, and the things are all going wrong, I mean, you're just going to create more and more of that. So yeah, definitely.
That's right.
I like that, sitting down and imagining the way you want life to be, and feeling that and getting that. If you can put on some music or like a scent or something, all these, if you can start to really create and bring in as many of your senses as you can, writing that, helps really cement things into your brain. Those are all really absolutely good techniques.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Things that you, enjoy, like you said, scents and music, and, using your imagination. Absolutely. Because, when we're born, so let's take a look at two important parts of our mind, our conscious and our subconscious. So when we're born, we're brought into this earth, we don't have a conscious mind, our intellectual part of our mind, our thinking mind. It's just our subconscious mind, which is our emotional mind. And everything that's going on around us, we're laying there like little, as little babies, and everything that's going on around us, we're taking it all in. It has to go somewhere, so it's going into our subconscious mind. So we become programmed, so to speak, by the things that are happening around us, and the things that people are saying, and that is a big part of creating, is how we get our self-image.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta be careful with that. They say up to about 7 years old, everything you see and everything that happens around you just goes right down inside of there, and it just becomes unconscious habits and unconscious things that happen. And you have to, from that point on, you have to actively get rid of them. Up until that point, they just become part of your, who you are as, whether it's yourself or your children or whatever it is. Yeah, you got to really be highly aware of those things.
Yeah, and unfortunately, some people have gone through some really, really difficult, hard times, bad things when they were real young, and they don't know why they feel so bad until they get into discovering things like this. And so it just really goes to show you how important the self-image is, and how it controls our life. It really controls our life.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing how things that you don't even remember, and or even your parents don't even know why or how they do them. It just becomes your life and how you operate your life. These things that somebody invented 1,000 years ago that we still do to this day, and we have no clue why we're doing the things the way we're doing it, and why, and all these different things. Is really, really, if you stop to sit and think about it for a second, you probably you just drive yourself crazy saying, why do I do these things the way I do them? And a lot of people are so passionate about, they're so locked in. It's got to be done this way. I'm like, well, why? I have no idea. And it was like, nobody stopped to think. I was at a department store a month or so ago, maybe a couple of months ago, and they were ringing up the clothes. I was with my daughter, and she was buying some clothes, and every item they had to punch in the color and the size and the make and model. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, we've got to do this. And I was like, why? She's like, I don't know. It's like, how long have you worked here? I've worked here for years. I was like, you've never stopped to think why you folks are doing this? She's like, no, it's just how we've always done it. It's like, yeah, maybe how you've always done it, but that's not how you should be doing it. I was like, you should talk to somebody about this. This seems a bit crazy. This line just builds and builds because you have to take every item and log all of these. I think it was like 12 things she said she's got to log for each clothing item that's purchased.
Wow.
But they never stop to think why they're doing it. It's just something they did. Who knows, when they started the company 20 years ago, is the way they had to do things, and they've never changed. Even though when they scan that barcode, all that information is already coded in there and there's not even a need for it. But nobody stopped to think about why we're doing this. Why are we wasting 10 minutes a clothing item, entering all this needless information in? But those things go for a lot of things that we do in our life. Why we do the simplest things. Sometimes you got to stop, take a look. The things you don't like, or the way you're doing them, and say, I don't like this. I don't know why I'm doing it this way, but I got to stop. I got to change it. I find a better technique and maybe more efficient or more effective or whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, our minds are kind of like a thermostat,
right,
in our house. And okay, so it's set to be at a certain temperature at night, certain temperature during the day. So say it's set to be 75 during the day, and somebody comes in, they open the door, they leave it open, and all the hot air comes in. But the next thing you know, that thermostat is kicking on to cool down the house to the temperature it's programmed to be.
Right.
Yeah. So our minds are the same way. They're programmed. And that thermostat is going to keep on doing that. And our mind is going to keep on thinking the way it's thinking. And we're going to keep on doing the things we do until we get in there, we change that program. That's what we got to do.
Absolutely. And I know also when we were chatting earlier, you were talking about women's mental health. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what you're passionate about, what you're working on in that area?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking me. Like I said a little bit earlier, but we get so wrapped up in taking care of everybody else and the things in life, and making sure our home is nice, our children are taken care of, our husband, the family the kids have the proper education, whatnot. We're always, that's kind of our role in life, and we forget about who we are. And lots of times women get to a certain point in their life and they're just saying, who am I? What am I doing? They feel like they've lost their identity, or they may have never even found it if they went from living at home with mom and dad to being married and starting a family. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a wonderful experience, but yeah, so it's really key to spend time a little bit every day on yourself and relax. And when you quiet the mind, like Eckhart Tolle says, he says an artist is an artist because they find their creativity in the quietness. And they're not always trying to think of, oh, how can I be creative? What can I do? It's in the quietness. And that's what we need to do is to find the quietness in the day too. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot with women. They either when they're just finished with college, or just they kind of just started their career a little bit, and they really haven't got a lot of traction, and then all of a sudden they get pregnant, and then they're like, I want to stay home with the kid, and either they wind up staying home with the kid either through high school or through elementary when they go off to kindergarten, and then when that happens, it's like they're like, who am I? I've been I've been just a mother and a wife for 5 years or 18 years or whatever it is that they chose. And they don't even remember what they used to want to do or who they used to want to be or who they used to be before that or what they did before. And they have I've heard that a lot of women have a problem with that. And not remembering the dreams and the aspirations that they had. What do you say to someone like that to help them kind of find their way again?
There's always hope. Definitely always hope. And and that's why I especially enjoy working with women and with the program that I teach and I coach and I mentor. It really focuses on helping them to understand who they are and to spend this quiet time and study just a little bit every day, getting back to realizing what it is that makes them happy, what their goal is. And when that starts coming into play, then everything else just starts unfolding. And they're able to improve the self-image and to allow their goals and their dreams to grow and to realize them.
When you're going through that, what is the one thing you kind of keep seeing over and over again that gets that spark in somebody? What is the one, whether question or technique or lesson or whatever that you see it time and time again that just kicks a switch in these women's minds?
I would have to say it's the goal. What really makes you happy? What just gets you excited about getting up in the morning and getting on with your day? And what gives you contentment at night before you lay your head down on that pillow? We've got to have something big that we're working towards, something that it's not something that we work on every day in our life. It's got to be big. It's got to be a dream. It's got to be our fantasy. And with that excitement, that keeps us going, because those big goals, those fantasies, they're not easy. And so we have to, because it's something that really excites us, it'll allow us to stay persistent and strong and endeavor until we reach it. And when you reach that, well, it's just so gratifying. So that's what I really find them, a lot of women coming to me with, well, I don't know what I want anymore. I've been so busy with my life in my family and work, and that I really don't know what I want anymore. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting you say that. I bet if we talk to a lot of people in general and ask them what they're doing for themselves, they probably would have no idea. So many people go around doing everything whether it's your spouse or your kids or your boss or your neighborhood or your PTA or whatever it is that you're doing. And a lot of people just don't stop and think for themselves, like, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do with these 3 or 4 hours after work or 2 hours in the morning before I go to work, whatever it is? That's a great question. We all should be asking ourselves, what do I want to like? What do I want for me? What do I want to accomplish? And the crazy thing, and I've talked to people about this before, it's like, well, that's selfish. And it's like, that's not. Because if you're not here and you're not present and you're not ready for this world and life and to give, there's nothing you're going to do for anybody. You're no good to anybody. If you're not taking time for yourself, if you're not sleeping and exercising, all these things, you're no good to your family. You're no good to your neighbors, and that's the selfish part. When you take away from your family because you're so concerned about everything else and you're not taking that moment for you, that's the selfish part. Yeah,
I see a lot of women, they're on the verge of a breakdown. And I say, you know what? If you have a breakdown or if you get really sick, no one's going to be any good because everyone relies on you. So we really do have to teach those around us that I need some time for me. And if we teach them that, they'll give us that time. Mm-hmm. And everything will go a lot smoother. Things will go a lot farther.
When
really good.
in the day do you take your time for yourself? Is it in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, before bed? What do you like to do?
I usually do in the morning as soon as I get up. Yes, that's my quiet time.
But an hour or two, what kind of time frame do you like to go with?
About an hour. Yeah. First thing I do is I write in my gratitude journal, things that I'm grateful for, and it just puts me in a good frame of mind, a positive frame of mind, and and then I can move forward with a little self-study, just another, for maybe about 15-20 minutes. It's just another way to get me up and positive, going out the door to to be a good influence on everybody else and be a positive person.
Excuse me. What does a typical day look like for you? What do you occupy your day with? How does that go for you?
Well, yeah, I do my little bit of time in the morning, and then I exercise for about 45 minutes, whether it's working on it up, in the gym room at the clubhouse, or maybe just doing some stretching and some yoga. That's very peaceful too. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in when I wake up. And I make myself a nice smoothie, and a good smoothie, healthy smoothie, and that sets me up for early afternoon, and get myself ready, and I'm out the door to find out who I can help for the day.
That's amazing. That sounds like a fulfilling day right there.
Yeah, my days are, I have to say, I'm in a sweet spot, Tyson. I'm pretty grateful for that.
That's amazing. So many people go through life and they never find that. It's so great you found it, and you're helping other people find it.
Yeah, I know, it wasn't always like that, but over 20 years ago, I started working with this company that they harvest a superfood, and I was able to stay with them and find ways to help people live healthier and happier lives. And it has been very gratifying.
And how does that work? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. This is a superfood. It's actually a water plant, and it's a blue-green algae. These are superfoods, and because they're so nutrient rich, and you're looking at vitamins, minerals, nutrients, micronutrients, protein, your omegas, your aminos. I mean, these algae, these are the blue-green algae, they're superfoods. You could live on them if you chose to, but we use them as a supplement. And it just, when you give your body the nutrients it needs that we often miss from our food, or the lack of eating because we're so busy, then you feel good. You're have a clear mind. You're able to handle stress, not freak out because you're not feeling well. And people just don't realize how connected the body and the mind is. So it's important that we keep our mind healthy too.
No, absolutely. It's one of those things that I think growing up and stuff here in America and stuff, we're just not taught. And even if you eat, tons of organic, vegetables and the greatest stuff, the soil we grow these things, they're so depleted of minerals and nutrients. They're not in those plants anymore. I've seen some, I don't know if it's documentary or studies or something that the levels of minerals and nutrients in the plants that they have specimens from in the 50s and 60s are so much higher than the stuff we have. Even the best, highest quality things we can get now they're just not there anymore. And we need to be taking some type of supplement to have the building blocks for our cells and to fight off cancers and all these different things for your brain health. I can't imagine how people just go through a day just in that daze and that fog. And I'm so glad I learned about this at a young age, and I don't even know what it even would feel like. Can't even imagine it.
These superfoods, they're so green, and that's the chlorophyll in them. And what chlorophyll does is it oxygenates our blood. And when our blood is properly oxygenated, it creates the environment where toxic cells cannot exist. So it really keeps our immune system strong. And I tell people that's really what it comes down to, because they're like you said, things are depleted. There's a lot of, we have to worry about our water and the food and the air. And so we've got to keep our immune system strong. Mm-hmm.
We're constantly bombarded with all kind of environmental things, and whether it's cleaners or just the things in the products that are off-gassing. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we got to be really aware of, and all the electronics that are around. I mean, I'm just surrounded in this cocoon of electronics right now. And you really got to take care of ourselves and help our bodies replenish and rebuild on a daily basis. And like you said earlier, sleep is one of those things too. We just we take for granted that, I'm fine, I've had 3 hours of sleep, and it's boy, if I don't play with that. I like to operate at the highest level I can, and I try to get, I definitely am getting my 7-8 hours of sleep, and people just think that that's crazy, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's like your car battery. You can't shut the car off. Well, maybe older cars that work like this, but you shut the car off and you leave the lights on, the battery's going to go dead. Yeah. You got to turn those lights off, and everything has to rest. And so we need to rest to charge our battery. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a time our brain cleans itself out. Our body repairs itself from all the damage we've done all day long. Our hormones reset and all these different things that happen when we go to sleep. But we need a good block of time to be sleeping so that these processes can get going. You have to be asleep for so long for certain things to kick on, and hormones and stuff and different things to kick on. And it's surprisingly how much more you can get done in a day when you've had a proper night's sleep. You just operate at a higher level. You think more clearly. You spend less time wondering where you are and what you're doing. It's so much a much better way of living and being able to achieve so much more.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing about these superfoods is the blue-green algae is the omegas, the essential fatty acids in there. They cross the blood-brain barrier. So, it's not only our bodies that need those good fats, those essential fatty acids, but our brains do too. Our brains are deprived of these essential fatty acids and water. Those are two things that our brains really need to function at a high level. And I personally think that's why you're seeing, one of the reasons why you're seeing, more Alzheimer's. Right. Is, the brain becomes calcified.
Mm-hmm. And all that sugar we eat as well too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the connection between our body and our mind is just so amazing. I got a book. It's an older book. I haven't read it yet. It's called Our Body Speaks Our Mind. So how we feel and what we do has to say what's going on up here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something we got to really pay attention to especially as science starts to catch up with this stuff, and we start to get a lot more into that. It's very fascinating. I like to dig deep into those things, and I like to try and keep my brain running at its optimal level as I possibly can. Through diet, from when I eat to exercising and different types of things. There's so many great benefits in all of that stuff.
Yeah, and I talk to people and they say, well, this is what I do, and I don't know why I do it, like you were saying before. I don't know why I do it. I shouldn't be doing it, but it's in my nature. Yeah. It's in my nature. And it's like, no. It's how you were nurtured. Mm-hmm. It's what you were taught. Yeah. And it's how you think. And what's really fascinating is that we can change the way we think so that we can change our results in life. And the first thing is understanding that we can do that, and then learning how to do it.
Yeah, so I like to tell people, I was like, so how's it working out for you? And they're just like, it's not. I'm like, so stop doing it. And it's like the most novel thing in the world. They're like, I can stop doing that? I'm like, yeah, at any time. Nobody's forcing you to do this. Nobody's making you this. And it really opens people's eyes. They're like, I can. Like, it's like, I don't know if they need permission or what it is, but it just really, that does open people's eyes up, and they just realize that they absolutely can just stop it at any moment, whatever they're doing that they just dislike. I don't know. I couldn't imagine going, walking around every day with a nail in my shoe and be like, oh, that's just how the shoe came. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. And then somebody comes to me and says, no, just pull the nail out. Wait a second, what? But that's, I mean, it's funny when we talk about it, when we look at somebody else, but when it's happening to us, it's so hard to just see that. But listen, people, you can stop. Whatever stuff you're up to, whatever you're doing you don't like, you can stop right now and never do it again. It really is that simple.
I remember my mom used to say that to me. Well, just stop it, Eden. And I'm like, but I can't. This is who I am.
Right.
But, there was just something from a very young age. I was just always intrigued with the mind.
Mm-hmm.
You ask a person, when you think of the mind, what picture comes to mind? Because we think in pictures as humans. And a lot of people say, well, that gray thing up in there, that gray matter. And that's our brain, but it's not our mind. Our mind is the activity. And our brain is an electronic switching station. So our mind, we think with our mind, and in our brain is the electronic switching station that tells our arm to move or, walk over there. And so our body is an instrument of our mind. It really is.
Yeah, that's a really, to get that concept at first is really hard. It's like, no, what do you mean? I control all of this. I'm doing the thoughts of this. When you really stop and think about it, you're not. Most of the things we're thinking about are things that pop into our head or from a habit or some external stimulation that we have no control over. And, and try to think the next thought you're going to have. You're not going to think it. It's just going to come to your head. You have no control over how that got there. You can only control what you do about that thought. And whether you act on it or don't, or do something about it or not, or stop thinking it, or change the thoughts that's coming into your head by, reprogramming yourself, like you were saying, we can stop these things. We can reprogram it and have a new program so that new thoughts come in our head and new ideas come in our head and these different things along those lines.
Yeah, and when you know that, when you learn that and you learn how to stop it and change it, then that's when you're on track. Because you're always going to come up against that with all the, all the things that are happening around us in our senses, coming in through our senses. And, there's so many more distractions nowadays. You're driving down the road, you're looking at your phone, you're listening to a song, so many distractions, and you're thinking of something else. There needs to be a little bit of quieting down, and that way we'll be able to think more clear, and we'll say, wait a minute, this isn't good. I'm going to stop thinking that way, and then you get right back on track again. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I first started learning this stuff, and I started trying to do meditation and stuff, I was just like, my brain, I would have, I don't know how many thousands of things. I was like, how does anybody just sit here? I just got so many things I got to do and think about. And the more I kind of started doing it and just understanding that there's thoughts that are going to be there and they're just going to come and go, and I don't have control over them. I can just observe them and let them be and let them go on their way as I do this. Now what I've found is I'll be doing something and I'll get in that habit or that routine or whatever, and I'll be like, and I'll just, all of a sudden I'll just catch myself like, what are you doing? Why are you scrolling on Instagram right now? Mm-hmm. Went on here to post something real quick or check a message or whatever it was. And next thing you know, what are you doing? And it's so amazing. Like, just start to train your brain to just catch those thoughts and catch those things that are happening. And it blows my mind every time I catch myself. Like, what are you doing this right now? And I stop and I ask myself, what are you doing? I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Stop. It's so unbelievably crazy. But to learn that skill to quiet your mind in a way of being focused on what's happening, what you're acting on, the thoughts that are coming in, and like, are you going to act on them? I'm going to let it go. Am I going to act on this? I'm going to let it go. Like, that is a skill. So hard to get, but once you do, you'll start to just realize all these crazy things that not only is going on in your brain, but that you're doing and going on around you. It's really, really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, exercise, we exercise our body. We don't just, lift weights one time and our body, our arms are in shape. It's repetition over and over again on a regular basis. And so we have to do the same thing, exercises for our mind. Over and over. And it changes it.
Definitely. So I have a question here for you. So what are the 1, 2, 3 things that you just must do, or if you do those things, you set yourself up to win every day? What are those things for you?
Well, right before I go to bed, I have my planner, and I have 5 things. Well, I usually have more than 5 things, but 5 things that are the most important that have to be accomplished. And so those are like A1. And then the other things that I feel that I need to address, then they'll be B.
Okay.
So I do that before I go to bed. So as soon as I wake up, I know what I've got going on for the day. And then when I wake up, again, that writing down those 10 things that I'm grateful for, and then doing a little bit of self-study. Those are the 3 things that really, they work well for me, and they work well for a lot of people that are trying to get specific results in their life, be successful in whatever it is that they want, whether it's in a relationship in their life, or being successful in their work, or building a business. It's really that little bit of organization and positive thought really, really goes a long way.
Yeah, no, I like that technique. When I don't write down the things I need to accomplish tomorrow, and you wake up in the morning and the day gets you, and somebody else starts asking for your time and your input, you just get so messed up and so scrambled. And it feels good when you wake up in the morning, you sit down at your desk, and you're like, here's things I got to do today, and you just start knocking those out. You just feel so good, get on this high and this energy, like, what's next? Not even lunch yet. And, oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I had a day like that yesterday. It was Sunday, and I was like, what is going on here? But it does. You feel so good. You feel like you were given an extra day in one day or something. Yeah.
Those are the best days when you just start nailing those things. Yeah. I was, I don't know, it was a week or 2 ago. I was in one of those, like, real deep. And I think it was about 3 o'clock, and I was like, I don't know what else to do. I've done everything. Like, my list was completely blank. I was like looking for more things. I was like, well, I'm gonna take some time to start planning the next phases of things, because I was like, I had just killed everything I had written down for months. I had stuff piled up. But yeah, those are the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those are the best days. So what book or books have helped you the most on your journey in life?
Oh.
What's your top 1, 2, 3 favorite?
Well, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I still study that. That's a really, really, really good book. And I like, there's so many books out there.
What is something you like to gift to people? Or when somebody asks you for a book recommendation, the first things that kind of pop off your head?
You're talking about a book?
Yeah.
Okay, well, one thing I really do like to gift is a gratitude journal. Everybody
Amazing.
loves those.
Yeah,
something on the gratitude journal, yeah. But the book that I gift them is Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty deep and intense, but like anything, you read it a second time and a third time and so on. You get something new, something different out of it every time. It hasn't been changed, or nothing has been added in the meantime. You just become more knowledgeable and more aware, and you see those things that were always there. You just didn't see them before.
Yeah, absolutely. I always recommend people read books several times. You're a different person every time you read the books. You've got different experiences, different knowledge, different things that you've gone through, revolutions, new habits, whatever. You're always going to find something new every time you read it.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't say enough about continuing to read and do self-study. Just because you're out of school or college doesn't mean you stop, like you said.
Your learning never stops. Where can people connect with you and find out more about what you're up to?
Well, they can visit me on Facebook. My page is called My New Paradigm for the number 4 life. So it's My New Paradigm for Life. I just have, little quotes on there every day of positivity. I sometimes do some little videos and talk about different subjects. And then of course my website is the same as well, mynewparadigmforlife.com.
Awesome. And then I'll link those for you guys in the show notes, so it's easy for you guys to get right over to her pages. You guys want to connect with her, learn more about what she's up to, different things she's into, keep this conversation going with her.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Tyson. There's just so much out there that, like I said, I love to help people. And, I worked with this company for 20 plus years, and I didn't mention this, but a few years ago, I was like, there has to be a deeper way to help people more to achieve their goals and have what they want in life. And like they say, seek and ye shall find. I was reintroduced to who's now my mentor, Bob Proctor. I was reintroduced to him, and I said, Bob, will you be my mentor? And he mentored me, and it just totally changed my life. And it's leveled me up, so to speak, at helping people to change their life on an even grander scale. So I really, really love what I do. And there's a lot of people out there that need the help. So that's what keeps me going every day too.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob is a great guy. He's an amazing individual, doing tons of good in this world.
He is, yep, and he teamed up with a beautiful woman, Sandy Gallagher. She's so intelligent, and they're growing the organization, but they're growing it with every time you turn around, it's just they're just giving more and helping people more, and yeah, we all need to do that.
Yes, more giving without trying to get something back in return.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, here on the Social Chameleon Show, we like to do a weekly challenge. And for this week's challenge, I'd like you to issue the challenge. So what's this week's challenge, Eden?
This week's challenge, guess what it is? As soon as you get up in the morning, write down 10 things you are grateful for and see how it makes you feel.
That is the best challenge ever. Listen, people, I'll put together a little PDF you guys can print out if you want, and with 10 lines on it. Do that. Get up every morning. Write down those 10 things. Start simple if you need to. Hey, I woke up. My kids are alive. The electricity still works. And eventually start looking for more creative things. That's a great challenge. I love that.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for being on. It was a pleasure talking with you and great connecting with you.
Anytime. Thank you, Tyson. It was my pleasure as well.
You have a great day and a beautiful new year.
Thank you very much. You also. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye.
Wow. Thank you, Eden. Once again, that was a great conversation. As always, guys, you can head over to thesocialchameleon.show/pick-me to get into this month's giveaway. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this interview with Eden. If you guys want to hear any other people on, please let us know. We'll try to get those people on for you and have some good conversations with them. As always, if this episode has been a help to you and you think it can help somebody else, please share it with 2 other people. It's a great way to support the show by sharing. Make sure you guys liking, comment, let us know what you guys think. You guys can follow us all week long in between shows on the Social Chameleon Show, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You guys can also check us out and subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all the major podcastings out there. If you are enjoying the show, you always want to leave a review on the podcast app platforms. That would be greatly appreciated, and it will help our show reach more amazing people like you. As always, for past episodes and links to everything we've talked about here today, you guys can visit thesocialchameleon.show. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and transforming into the person you want to become.